So welcome back to another video. So the last video we discussed about the introduction to machine learning. So in this video we will be discussing about the basic terminologies of this machine learning, and also we will discuss the first type of machine learning called supervised machine learning. So without any wasting further time, let's get started. So terminologies. So basically when we deals with this machine learning, the first thing we consider is that we will be using data, right? So we are considering a lot data sets. From that only the machine start to learn. Okay, so as far as this data set concerned, so when we pick up a data set from any areas, it start with the data. So it contains basically two parameters. One is the label and the other one is the features. So what is this label and what is this features? So as you can see here, the label is the variable we are predicting. So you can see I just given you a basic example of how the data set look like. You can see here this is a sample data set where it is basically the prediction of a house or apartment. So we can see that the first column, which is the size of the apartment, like how much square feet it is, then how many bedrooms it has, like 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, 3 bedroom, like that, and how many bathrooms available, then what is the area, so the zip code, the area location, then the price in terms of rupee or lakhs, it's US dollars, whatever, like we consider the prices. You don't want to consider how much it is. This is the price value. So this is a basic database where the square feet is one. Then these features, the vertical columns, and these are called the features. Features are the input variables describing the property of the data. Okay, so for example, size is a feature. In this some example of this data set, we can see that size is a feature, then how many bedrooms are there, it is a feature, then how many bathrooms are there, that is also a feature, and what is the area location is also a feature. And using these multiple features, and the final we are going to predict if it has this much of size, this many bedrooms and this many bathrooms, and this is a location. So based upon these multiple features, finally we are going to predict what is the price of that particular home or apartment. So the predicted value, that is basically the variable. Okay, so label, sorry, not variable, the label. Okay, so using these features we are going to predict labels. So here we consider x1, x2, x3, the column values are the features, and the final column value, that is the price, that is nothing but the label. So using features we will be predicting the label, and label is your output. Okay, understood. So this is all about this data set. The main basic two things are labels and features, and we will be dealing with single feature and single label, and we will be having multi-dimensional features, and we will be having, sometimes we will be having multi-labels as well. Okay, so this is the basic stuff regarding the data sets. Now we move to our main topic, today's topic, that is types of machine learning. So we know machine learning is a subset of artificial intelligence, and which will provide the machine to understand the data and find the pattern inside the data, and we can able to predict for the future events. So here the types of machine learning are basically classified into these three. The one will be supervised machine learning, the other will be unsupervised machine learning, and the third will be reinforcement learning. So out of these three we will see one by one. So the first one is supervised machine learning, which deals with the labeled data set. So what is labeled data set means? The data set contains, we have one or multiple features, and for each feature these features we will be having a label. That means for the machine to understand the data better, we have multiple features in the data set, and finally we will tell the machine that if these features are there, then this will be the output. For example, we consider a data set of fruits, where we will be telling the machine that a red color with round in shape, we will say the machine that these are the features of apple, and if you see these features, then the output will be apple. So apple is your label. Similarly, you take the next fruit, you give the features yellow color, long curvy shape, so the output will be, the label will be a banana. So once this label is properly given to the data set, then the machine can able to understand the feature, and so that it can able to, whenever in the future when we are giving a new data, then it can able to easily identify, correlate these features with the corresponding labels. So in supervised machine learning, most of the data set is properly labeled. That is the first property of supervised machine learning. And the supervised machine learning is basically classified into two categories. One is regression, the another one is classification. Under regression, we will be having many algorithms working, and in regression is basically on integers based, that numerical values based, and the classification is basically on categorical values. Okay, so now we coming to the next category of machine learning, that is unsupervised machine learning. So unsupervised machine learning, we will be dealing with the data set which is purely unlabeled. So that means we don't know, and the machine does not understand what is the output for this different number of features. So it is not properly labeled, so no idea which type of result are expected. So without that, it start learning, so it will find out the relation between the data, and it will go for basically clustering. So here there are two types of approach under unsupervised machine learning. One is the clustering approach, and other one is the dimensionality reduction. Okay, so this is basically about the unsupervised machine learning. Now the third one is semi-supervised machine learning, and many of the references we directly go with the reinforcement, but there is another one called the semi-supervised. It's a combination, it's a hybrid variety of supervised machine learning and unsupervised machine learning. It uses the data set that it uses will have some of the data will be labeled, and some of the data will be unlabeled. So to deal with the labeled data set, we use the concept of supervised machine learning, and to deal with the data which is not having proper labels, we use the concept of unsupervised machine learning. So basically it is using both, like supervised and unsupervised, so we call it as hybrid hybrid learning mechanism. Okay, so that is basically about a semi-supervised machine learning. And coming to the next type is called reinforcement learning. So reinforcement learning, there are no proper training data set is available, so you are actually putting into a real environment where you don't get enough training on the data, so somehow you have to learn and you need to predict it. So the best example for this reinforcement learning is that a gaming scenario, where the gaming means the person who is doing the gaming, playing the game, so he is into the virtual environment, and you will be experimenting each step. If it is successful, you follow the step, and suppose if you are failing it, you will come back, you will learn from the mistake, and you will correct it, and you will go for the further deviation on the previous step. So likewise, you will whenever you are doing an action, you will get a feedback. Based on the feedback, you will be correcting and you will be learning. So this is basically happening in the reinforcement learning. Okay, so these are the different categories of machine learning. We'll deal with first machine learning, like supervised machine learning. So supervised machine learning is so called because the process of an algorithm learning from the data set can be thought of as a teacher supervised machine learning process. So we can correlate a supervised machine learning as a teacher, like there is someone who is there to guide you. Okay, so just like a teacher, so the machine will be getting better understanding on the data by using this label. So we are guiding the machine that for these many features, so these are the features, and for these features this will be the output. So there is a proper training for this in supervised machine learning process. So we know that the correct answer is So which is the correct answer? So the algorithm iteratively make predictions on the training data and is corrected by the proper labels. Okay, so it understand these features and then correlate with what is the label, and so that in future if the same kind of features are coming up, then it will correlate the same to the corresponding label itself, which understand the knowledge it taking from the previous trained data. So this is the basic block diagram of supervised machine learning. So as you can see here, we are using an input data set of different kinds of animals, and we basically need to predict if a new data point is given, like a new picture of an animals is given, then the machine learning model need to predict which category it belongs to. So the input data set is given, and when you start with the machine learning, supervised machine learning, so you need to split the data set into two category. One will be what we will say the training, and then the data set. So here you can see that we take the training data set, and we have the labeled data is there. Okay, labeled data is there, and for these number of data we have the particular labels also: elephant, then cow, camel. So three different kinds of animals are there in the labeled data set, and whose data set all these data set having multiple features, and these features we will be having the corresponding labels also. Now these two, the labeled data which is having features and the labels, also we put it into the algorithm, machine learning algorithm. As we know, there are many algorithms are there, so accordingly depends upon the data set, we will be choosing the apt algorithm for this machine learning model. Now you are giving the training set using the labels, we will learn from the data, and while processing phase you will be giving a new set of animals which is not labeled at all, and this unlabeled data if you are giving into this processing stage, now what happen means it will identify the features of each animals that is learned from the previous training session. Now it will correlate that with the features of this particular new data, and if it, for example, cow, we will be having the features like white color is there and also black color is there, and maybe the weight and maybe the length of the animal. There are so many features inside, and if any of these features are matches with the previous learned data set, then it will predict that particular animal as cow. Next one is if that is completely white black in color, that is one feature maybe, and this is having so much of weight. So all these different features are comparing, and obviously an elephant will be having a greater weight. If you taking weight as a feature, then it will be having more number of weights, like the weight value is very high, so you can easily categorize that as your as an element as elephant. And the color base, if it goes to camel, the height will be very high, so if those categories you are selecting means you can easily predict that as camel. So likewise depends upon the feature and the corresponding label that it's trained on the previously, you can able to take a decision on the new data, so it will predict the animals as elephant, camel and cow. So this is how the machine learning works, supervised machine learning works. So here also we discuss this example. If we have a data set of fruits, now you can see that when the machine start learn from the training data set, for an apple maybe the feature is round in shape and has a depression at the top side for apple, and it is red in color. So this is the feature that it learned from the training data set, and its corresponding label is apple. So it understand if something comes in round shape and a depression in the top side and also red in color, then it is apple. That is what it learned from the training data set. And also it also learns that the shape is like long curvy cylinder and greenish yellow in color, then the label is banana. So from the training data set it learns this thing, like the long cylindrical shape with the greenish yellow color and corresponding label is banana. Now if I am giving a banana as a new data without any label, now it will see the data, this particular input data, and it can matches the shape that is long cylindrical shape, and greenish yellow color. So now it is comparing it with the learning happens from the training data set, then it will understand that it is a banana. Now it will predict it is a banana. So this is how the supervised machine learning is working. So far we discuss the two types of data set. One is the animal data sets and also the fruit data set, and from this we could understand that how the supervised machine learning is working. So now the supervised machine learning is classified into two types. One is the classification and another one is the regression. So what is classification? So classification is like the category of data set. The data set we are providing as the input, it will be categorical data. That means we will classify into either blue color or a red color. We can able to classify the data as diseases or no diseases, for example tumor, no tumor. Likewise we can able to categorize the data. This kind of categorical data will be dealing it as a classification problem. So what is regression? So regression is a kind of problem when the output variable is a real value. Okay, for example weight, height, then price of the something, predicting price, stock price. Then likewise you are going to predict some integer value or real value, then it comes under regression problem. So depends upon the data, we will be our approach will be different. So if there is a categorization is there, we go with the classification, and if there is integer value we are going to predict it, then it becomes regression. So this is all about the supervised machine learning. And in supervised machine learning, under these two categories called classification and regression, we will be having multiple algorithms. For example decision tree, support vector machine, SVM, then k nearest neighbors, and random forest algorithms. So these are the basic. And also coming into classification, we have logistic regression. In the regression phase we have linear regression, and then SVM is also there. Decision tree also works for both the algorithms like classification and regressions. So these are the different algorithms comes under the regression and the classification. We will be having a detailed study on these algorithms later. So we'll be discussing about unsupervised learning in the next class. So please subscribe to the channel and hope you will be enjoying the video. Thank you.